Days had begun to slip into a strange rhythm: public events, private silences, breakfasts eaten on opposite ends of the penthouse. Glances exchanged when no one else could see. Sometimes, in the quiet hours, Elias would knock softly on her door, offering her business updates or asking if she needed anything. But other times, he came with no pretense at all, just stood there, in the doorway, watching her like a puzzle he hadn't solved yet. And Arya, she had started dreaming again, only now. They weren't her dreams, they were Victoria's memories. Painful. Twisted. Lonely. "I'm not sure how long I can do this," she admitted one morning over tea. The scent of bergamot wrapped around them like a shield. Elias looked up from his tablet. "Do what?" "This." She gestured vaguely at the pristine apartment, the designer robe, the life that wasn't hers. "Pretend I belong here." A beat passed. "You're not pretending," he said quietly. "You're changing it." She blinked. "What?" He met her eyes. "This world, it's different now. Because of you." Arya looked away, heart thudding in her chest. She didn't want his faith. Didn't want hope. Hope made things harder when it ended. "I'm still leaving," she whispered. "When I figure out how. I'm going home." "I know." The way he said it, steady, accepting, almost made her cry. At the next event, a corporate fundraiser for the Lang Foundation, Elias stood behind her as she addressed the audience. She'd avoided the usual venomous remarks from Victoria's infamous speeches and instead spoke about mental health and compassion. It wasn't what they expected, but the applause was loud, and Elias was still watching her. Later, in the car, he murmured, "You were brilliant tonight." She turned to him, tired and open. "You don't have to say that." "I know," he said, and for the first time, smiled like it meant something. "But I want to." That night, Arya stared at the city skyline from her balcony, wrapped in her own thoughts. She felt it, the pull. The story wasn't trying to trap her anymore. It was trying to keep her. Chapter 9, Memories That Don't Belong. It started with a smell, antiseptic and blood. Arya woke up gasping, clutching the silk sheets as if they were a defibrillator cable. Her heart pounded, not from fear, but from recognition. This wasn't a dream, it was a memory. Fluorescent lights. Screaming monitors. Her hands soaked in red as she performed an emergency craniotomy. The surgical mask pressed tight to her face. Then, a face. A man, standing in the observation window. His eyes filled with something she couldn't explain. Not admiration. Not fear, longing. She jolted upright, blinking into the dark, her bedroom. The penthouse. Elias's world, but for a second. She swore she'd been back in her own life. The flashes didn't stop. In the middle of a board meeting, she blinked, and saw her hospital's hallway. Shahana laughing. The vending machine that never worked. The scent of soap and lemon wipes. When Elias touched her wrist gently during a photo op, another vision rushed in, him, at the coffee shop. The same warm eyes. The same voice. The same line, "Be careful with it. You never know what stories are hiding in your data." She had brushed it off as charm. A coincidence, but now, she couldn't shake the thought that he'd known her before she entered the story, and maybe he was the reason she was here. "Do you ever feel like you're being watched?" She asked him one evening as they walked through the Lang Estate gardens for a PR shoot. Elias glanced sideways. "Watched? Not by paparazzi. I mean, by something else. As if this whole world is reacting to us." He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he stopped walking and looked at her with that unnerving intensity he'd never shown anyone else. "I used to think this life was scripted," he said softly. "But lately, it's like the lines are smudging. Especially when I'm with you." Her breath caught. "What if," she whispered, "I knew you before this? In another life?" She shook her head slowly. "In my life." That night, Arya pulled out an old sketchbook Victoria had left untouched. She flipped past blank pages until, halfway through, she found a pencil drawing, rough. Incomplete, a man in a coffee shop, his gaze tilted slightly up, as if looking at her. "Elias, but this wasn't Victoria's drawing. The strokes were different. Hesitant. Personal. She had drawn this, somehow. Before she even realized it, and that meant. The connection wasn't fictional, it was real. Chapter 10, End of the Villain. The headline hit like a bullet. Lang heiress involved in corporate fraud. Secret audio leaks suggest Victoria Lang manipulated board votes. Arya stared at the article on her phone, fingers trembling. Her picture, Victoria's picture, was plastered across every major media outlet. The same narrative the book followed, the villainess cornered, disgraced, ruined, except this time. Arya had done nothing, she hadn't manipulated anyone. She hadn't schemed, yet the story was still unfolding exactly like the original plot. Clara denied involvement, but her faint smirk in the boardroom whispered otherwise. You should lay low, Elias said quietly as the room buzzed with crisis control. Arya looked up at him. You believe me? He didn't answer immediately. Then, I don't believe in coincidences, he said. And I know who Victoria used to be. You're not her. Those 4 words anchored her, but the world didn't care about truth. Paparazzi swarmed the penthouse. Social media turned vicious. Former allies turned silent, even the assistants, the maids, everyone began treating her like a walking scandal, like the villain they'd always expected her to be. In the middle of it all, Arya locked herself in Victoria's art studio, staring at her own eyes in the mirror. Is this how I die? She whispered. Not in my world. But as her? A glitched light flickered overhead, the room trembled, just slightly, but enough to make her drop the brush she'd been holding. Later that night, Elias called an emergency press conference. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted questions. Then he stepped to the podium. His voice was calm, but each word shook the foundation of the narrative like thunder. Victoria Lang did not manipulate the board. The audio is fake. The reports are false. She is not the person they say she is. She is more. Gasps echoed across the room. The plot shattered. That wasn't what Elias was supposed to do. In the novel, he stayed silent. Let Victoria fall, but this time. He stood with her, and in doing so, he changed everything. They sat together in silence afterward. He poured her tea. You should hate me, she said finally. I'm not even from here. I know, he said. She blinked. You believe me? I don't just believe you, Elias said, brushing a thumb over her hand. I think I've been waiting for you. That night, the city lights flickered. A loop began. The same car passed twice on the same street. A waiter reset a coffee cup 3 times. Time. Space. Story, all beginning to fracture, because Arya was no longer following the plot. And Elias, he was no longer the cold, unreachable CEO from a fictional world. He was a man in love. Chapter 11. I'm not her. Arya had rehearsed the words 100 times, in the shower. While lying awake at night. Behind the mask of Victoria Lang, where she hid every expression that wasn't expected of her. But when Elias looked at her now, really looked at her, not with suspicion, not with disdain, but with quiet, aching wonder, she forgot every script. They were alone in his penthouse library. No cameras. No assistants. No scripted reality waiting for them outside the door. Just her and him. I have to tell you something, Arya said, voice barely above a whisper. Elias sat across from her, eyes unreadable. Go on. She exhaled shakily. I'm not Victoria. He didn't move. I mean, this body, this world, it's not mine. I don't know how or why, but I'm not her. My name is Arya One. I'm a doctor. A neurosurgeon. I live in New York. I had a life there. I remember surgeries and coffee runs and my best friend Shahana dragging me to brunch. Her hands trembled. Then I collapsed after a long shift, and when I woke up, I was here. As her. In this story. Elias leaned forward slowly. A story? Yes, Arya whispered. My friend used to read this novel. Your story. I didn't finish it, but I remember bits and pieces. Victoria was the villain, you hated her, she died. That's the ending. That's what's supposed to happen. Silence stretched between them. I sound insane, she added with a bitter laugh. I know. Elias didn't laugh. Instead, he whispered, I believe you. Her breath hitched. Why? Because from the moment I saw you at that board meeting, he said, voice low, I knew something had changed. You weren't cruel. You were scared. You looked at me like I mattered. Victoria never did that. She played roles. You broke them. He stood, pacing once. And lately. I've felt it too. Things repeating. Conversations I never said. People acting like they're reading from invisible lines. He turned back to her. I think we're both trapped in someone else's idea of what should happen. Arya nodded, eyes wide. But what if we rewrite it? They stayed up all night, poring over every clue, every scene that felt forced, Clara's rehearsed smiles, the article that vanished the next day, the cracks in time, glitches that no one else seemed to notice. If this is a story, Arya said, then someone's writing it. And we're not following the script anymore, Elias replied. She looked at him. You're not supposed to love Victoria. I don't, he said. Then stepped closer. But I might be falling for the woman who's wearing her skin. He touched her cheek gently, like she was fragile glass, and for the first time since she fell into this world, Arya didn't feel trapped, she felt seen. Chapter 12, Rewriting Fate. The moment Elias held Arya's hand in public, the narrative cracked. At first, it was subtle. A news headline misspelled her name. Vicotria Lang declares love for Elias Reed. Then, in the reflection of a boutique window, Arya saw herself, not as Victoria, but as Arya. Just for a second. Then it was gone. I think we're breaking it, Elias said, after they left the event. How can we be sure? Because this morning, I got a call from Clara saying she wants to apologize. Clara. Apologize. That's not in any script. They laughed, but it was nervous, tight. Later that night, the world glitched again. While walking past their favorite quiet cafe, the same woman walked by them twice, in identical steps, same purse, same cough. Elias looked around. This world is starting to fold. Arya squeezed his hand. We're not supposed to be doing this. But we are. He looked at her. And I'm not stopping. The breaking point. 2 days later, Elias called a press conference. Arya watched from backstage, heart pounding. I have an announcement, he said, standing behind the podium, eyes burning with quiet rebellion. There will be no engagement. No wedding. Gasps. Reporters scrambled. Flashbulbs ignited. I will not continue to perform a role that no longer reflects who I am. That's when Clara barged backstage. Her face was pale, strained. You're not her, she whispered to Arya, voice trembling. Victoria was cruel, heartless. You're not. You never were. Clara. I don't know what's going on, but this world, it's wrong. I feel like I'm living in déjà vu every day. Like I'm reciting lines someone else wrote. Then the lights above them flickered. 3 times, Arya turned, and the hallway outside shifted. Like someone dragged a paintbrush across reality and smeared it. The collapse begins. Scenes began repeating. An elevator that wouldn't stop opening and closing. A woman outside the building crying into her phone on loop. The city skyline blinking in and out like a broken projector. Arya turned to Elias, voice breaking. We started something. The story, it's collapsing. And we still haven't reached the end, he said. Not the real one. They fled to the penthouse, where their first conversation had happened. Maybe, Arya whispered, this has always been the end. Maybe I was never meant to stay. I don't want you to go. Elias's voice was rough, his hands trembling. But I won't cage you in this lie. The walls creaked. Distant voices began to blend and distort, as if the entire city was remembering itself backward. You changed everything, she said. You believed me. I saw you, he replied. The real you. And I will keep seeing you, even if it's in another story. They kissed, but the kiss wasn't about forever, it was about goodbye. Chapter 13. The Goodbye. The city had become a painting peeling in slow motion. Streetlights flickered like dying fireflies. The skyline twisted in impossible angles. Time no longer moved forward, it unraveled, repeated, skipped like a scratched record. Arya stood by the window of the penthouse, watching snow fall upward. It's time, she whispered. Elias didn't answer immediately. He stood behind her, his hands in the pockets of his coat, like he was bracing against a storm no one else could see. How do you know? I feel it in my bones. Like gravity shifting. Like my body is already pulling away from this world. He stepped closer. I always thought Victoria would end in fire. In a cold press headline. Or jail. She didn't, Arya said softly. She ended in me. Elias reached for her hand. You changed the ending. Their eyes met, full of everything they couldn't say. You saved me, he said. Not just from her, from myself. I didn't even know I was playing a role until you arrived. Arya smiled through her tears. You were always more than this story, Elias. Maybe we both were. The apartment trembled, books fluttered on shelves. The glass table split down the middle. Outside, the skyline blinked, then vanished altogether. She turned to face him fully. When I leave, forget me. No, move on. No, Elias, her voice broke. I can't take your heart with me. Too late, he said hoarsely. You already did. Their kiss wasn't urgent or feverish. It was quiet. A goodbye sown in slow breaths. It was years of love that never got to bloom. Packed into seconds, when they pulled apart, the room was barely holding shape. I'll find you, he whispered. Even if it's not in this lifetime. I'll find you in another. She smiled, even as the edges of her body shimmered like a heat mirage. Then I'll be waiting. A pulse of light. The apartment fractured like glass, and Arya let go. Chapter 14. Home. The first thing Arya felt was weight, the heaviness of limbs that hadn't moved in days. The sterile scent of antiseptic. The low beep, beep, beep of a heart monitor, steady and grounding. She opened her eyes to white walls, soft daylight, and the face of Shahana hovering just above her with sleep-creased eyes and mascara-smudged lashes. Arya? Shahana's voice cracked. Oh my God, Arya? Her voice jolted something in Arya's chest. A ripple of relief, or dissonance. Shahana, Arya whispered. Her throat was dry, voice hoarse. Where am I? Back in the real world, Shahana laughed through tears. You collapsed in the ore. 32 hours on your feet, and your body gave up. You've been out for a week. Arya blinked slowly. A week. That didn't explain everything, not the fractured glass skyline. Not Elias's voice echoing in her dreams. Not the weight of that goodbye still pressed against her lips. She lifted her hand to her chest. Her hospital bracelet read, Dr. Arya 1. Her own name. Her own body, but something was missing. Later, when the tests were done and Shahana stepped out for coffee, Arya sat alone in the room, staring at her reflection in the dark window. She touched her cheek. I'm back, she whispered, but the silence didn't answer. Only when she tried to sleep again did the dreams come, not memories, but echoes. Elias laughing. Elias watching her in the rain. Elias whispering, I'll find you in another life. She clutched the blanket tighter. If it was a dream, why did it feel like heartbreak? 1 month later, the hospital resumed its rhythm. Arya returned to her schedules. Consultations, surgeries. Her name echoed down pristine hallways like it always had, but she wasn't the same. Some nights, she caught herself searching reflections. Listening for voices that didn't belong here. Hoping for a glitch in the air. But the world held firm, predictable, real, and utterly quiet, until one rainy Sunday, she stepped into Urban Bean Cafe, the same brass-lit corner that started it all. She didn't know why. Habit, maybe. Or maybe hope. The place was nearly empty. Only the sound of milk frothing, jazz humming through the speakers. She ordered a cappuccino and took her old spot by the window, and then, the door opened. He walked in, umbrella tucked under one arm. Hair damp from the drizzle. No expensive suit this time. No dramatic entrance. Just a man in jeans and a black coat. Aria's breath caught. He looked around the cafe, spotted her, his steps paused, then he walked toward the counter. Ordered something. And right before leaving, he turned, like something invisible pulled him back. He met her eyes, the same quiet electricity. He took a step closer. You dropped this, he said, holding out a napkin. A small smile tugged at his lips. She took it, fingers brushing his. Thanks, she replied, voice calm, but her heart loud. He stared at her, longer now. As if he were listening to something unspoken. Something older than memory. Then he said softly, You're not her, are you? She shook her head, a gentle smile playing at the corner of her lips. No. But I think we met in another story. His expression didn't change, but something in the air did, as though a page had turned again. The end, epilogue, a story still being written. The second time they met, there were no plots. No cursed timelines or rewritten fates, just rain on the windows, and a name, Elias, he said, extending his hand. Elias Hart. She smiled. Aria won. There was no mention of Victoria Lang. No memory of a collapsing narrative. Of glitches and goodbyes. Yet something lingered, an echo between them. Not loud, not demanding. Just there. A familiarity that didn't need explanation. Over the following weeks, they bumped into each other more. Some might call it coincidence, she called it rhythm. They didn't fall in love overnight. But coffee turned into shared walks. Conversations grew into laughter. And sometimes, when the world went quiet, Aria would catch him looking at her like he was remembering something too. Neither of them ever spoke of the other story. But on her bookshelf sat a single novel with a torn cover and a name she couldn't quite remember, and every now and then, she'd find Elias staring at it. One morning, he turned to her and said, Do you believe in rewritten endings? She smiled. Only if we get to write them ourselves. And so they did, not as characters bound by fate, but as two people, slowly, softly, writing something new, not someone else's story, theirs. In a world written for someone else, Aria rewrote her own fate, and maybe, just maybe, love found a way across realities. If this chapter moved you, like, share, and subscribe to The Velvet Story, where every heartbeat tells a tale. We'll see you in the next story.